I'm John McGehee with McGehee Davis Associates. I wanted to give you some year-end tax tips you may not have heard before. Tip number 1, consider a health savings account, or HSA. This qualifies as probably the gold medal winner. Why? Think of all the medical-related expenses you pay. Why pay taxes on all that money? Think of a health savings account this way. If you have money, you shift it from one account to the next. And ka-ching, it's deductible. Use it for medical expenses next year. Alert! You must have a high deductible insurance plan. How much can you deduct? $35.50 if you're single and $7,100 for a family. And there's no upper income limit. And it carries over. Most medical expenses are not deducted anyway because of the mathematical calculation, and you have to itemize. Tip number 2, prepay expenses, aka kick the can. Everyone knows to hold checks for being paid, but do you prepay expenses like rent and utility? It's a great idea and a smart idea. Uh-oh, another alert. Remember, next year you will have less expenses and more income. But hey, for instant tax gratification, spend more this month and save next month. Tip number 3, make the most of your car expenses. Most of us know to deduct car expenses, and many people do that by figuring a standard mileage deduction, so many cents per mile. But many people forget that they can also deduct parking and tolls on top of standard mileage. And for some people, that can really add up. Also, interest from a loan on a car that you use in your business is deductible, prorated to business use, of course. Tax tip number 4, speaking of interest, did you use money for your business from a HELOC or second on your house? That interest can be allocated to your business and deducted to calculate net business income. And yes, allocated interest paid on credit cards can also be deducted to the extent those credit cards were used for business purposes. Tip number 5, double check your withholding and estimated taxes. It's easy to take your pay stub and look at the year-to-date earnings and add the remaining paychecks you have yet to receive by the end of the year. You can also do this with the federal withholding amount. Take the total and Google your 2020 tax rates and compare the table or calculated tax. Now remember, there are other deductions and items to be considered, but this will certainly give you a good idea of whether you are on pace for a refund or if you might owe. And tip number 6, review your tax situation with a tax professional. Give them your pay stub and a copy of your prior year tax return as a guide. Most tax professionals can project your income tax situation with a relatively close margin of error. January 15th is the last day to make an estimated tax payment, which could give you an opportunity to send in some money to ease the burden of April 15th. This has been John McGehee with Last Minute Year-End Tax Tips. Check out my YouTube channel and my website for more.